Welcome back to another episode of the ABJ Podcast with Brother Bedlam. Before we get started, let's get some of the housekeeping out of the way. What? Oop. Yeah, computer's a little laggy. Are we good? Nope, no, we're not. Now we're good. What's going on, everybody? We're back from another episode of the ABJ Podcast. Before we get into everything, I just want to remind everybody that we are on the quest for 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you are watching this on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, wherever it may be, head on over, hit that subscribe button over on YouTube, and also whatever platform you're currently watching on, hit that thumbs up and all that fun stuff to help these channels grow. If you go to my links on the pages below at YouTube, it says channels to follow. All of my older content is up and running on previous YouTube channels as well that are more dedicated to just that niche instead of this channel where it's kind of all of my stuff on one page. So if you want to go subscribe to those channels, that'd be huge as well. Try to get those channels up. And a lot of the older content will be rolling out throughout the course of the year, so you can go check them out and maybe catch up on some stuff you missed over on that channel. Links below to follow myself. You can follow me on all social media. I do have merchandise, as well as you can join the membership on the channel. If you pay the $5 membership, you get to see content early before everybody else does. Huge thank you to Ruda Entertainment. If you want a championship belt, but you're not as athletic and good at wrestling as probably my guest, you can just go and buy a custom one, and you can say you're the champion from Ruda Entertainment. If you can dream it, he can make it. If you want something from TV, he can get you that made too. If you have a vision of what you've always wanted your championship belt to look like, you hit up my boy Ruda from Ruda Entertainment, and you yourself can be championship material. High Tension Wrestling Network making a bunch of waves over in that Philadelphia scene, a conglomeration of amazing companies like High Tension Wrestling, Labor of Love, Orochi, Smash. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Go over to their network, check out their great matches, and you can support some local independent wrestling. And you may hear me on commentary for some of those crazy shows. All right. Well, that'll pretty much do it for the can shaking on the internet. Also, links below for my guests. Follow them on all social media. Check out their merch pages and where you could find them and see them wrestle themselves. So also keep that chat going below. Comment, let us know some things, maybe some questions that you want me to ask future guests or people you want to be on the show. So without further ado, let's bring in my guest today. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How are we?
I'm doing great. Excited to have this conversation. We met a few times on the trails between PPW and a few other shows. I think you have a very, very good look. I think you're very new to your career, as we're kind of talking. We'll get more into that in a moment, but I think you have a lot of potential, and I want to get you now and hear about you and learn about you. So when you get big and popular, I say I had one of the first interviews.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's super new, pretty serious greenhorn to the business, but excited and trying to go at it full bore. It's a little bit of a different thing for me, right? Because I'm pushing 30 this year, which isn't old in the grand scheme of things, but basically
my last guest said 30 was I might as well have been a dinosaur. He said my buddy's 30, old as shit. I'm like, I'm almost pushing 40. Jesus Christ,
right.
Man.
I mean, in the terms of being inside the ring, right? I'm basically dead. So yeah. I think with that and that knowledge and kind of feeling like I'm already on borrowed time, I'm just trying to make the most of it and have a good time and take this whole weird, wacky wrestling thing as far as it'll go. So,
Yeah. Well, tell people who you are and what you do.
Yeah, man. So my name's Brother Bedlam, right? In the mornings, you can find me making some sweet coffee and cooking little muffins and biscuits at a local coffee shop out here in Easton. And by night, I can get you drunk at my bar, slinging drinks. And then on the weekends, we kick some ass, traveling all around Pennsylvania with the wrestling. That's pretty much what I do. Everything that on my day-to-day, like, my shoot jobs make me the money so I can buy the cool vest and the cool gear and put gas in my car to get to your next local event. That's kind of what life's been for the past, better part of a year or so. Out here in the Lehigh Valley, recently moved in September with my girlfriend. Before that, we were doing like the whole van life thing. We did that for about a year, just traveled around the country in a van that we bought off of a mariachi band in Colorado. Fixed it up, traveled around, lived out of it for about a year. So now we're kind of settling down. I mean, settling down in terms of like I've got a rent payment every month and a car payment. So settling down those ways, and I buy like the low calorie bread now, and I try to avoid sugary drinks. But definitely not slowing down in terms of like the madness and the mayhem that I'm trying to bring to every VFW and Forest Lodge and small expo center that'll have me. So.
Yeah, I fucking love that. That's sick. Van life. I have so many questions just on that. We could do a whole pod. That's like a goal. Like I want to make enough money of my content that I can just get in a van and just go from state to state and go to like different wrestling shows, different breweries, different bars, explore local lore. Cause like we kind of talked about off camera, I don't believe in the paranormal supernatural, but I want it to be real so bad. You know what I mean?
It makes life way more exciting.
Yeah, like I don't think there's anything out there, but Jesus Christ, if there's a Mothman, how sick would that be? You know what I mean?
Like, I want to hang out. I want to have a beer with Mothman. You know,
yeah,
it's interesting that you said you wish you like, you know, you want to make enough money off your pocket. I mean, we did that with like no money. Like we had a little bit of money saved up to like kind of build out the van, and then we had like pocket change, and we were just like, fuck it, we're gonna make it happen or not gonna make it happen. You know, I mean, I worked the entire time. We lived in the van. There was a lot of like lying to employers about where I was living and addresses that I just pull off of Zillow of houses that I knew were unoccupied that they would never check. You know, I mean,
holy shit.
Yeah, it was kind of wacky. I mean, I got set up with a pretty good deal for the first part of the year. I was like working with a company that was doing they would staff people for Liquid Death, the drink, to go to different festivals and just kind of rep their merch. And so for the first like 6 months of that thing, I was like going to like Lollapalooza and EDC and ACL and just like slinging Liquid Death, you know. And then from like December until like March of last year, I was like, we were posted up in Vegas, and I worked at a coffee shop in the mornings and a bar at night, and I told both jobs that I was staying with a buddy, and I gave them both a fake address, and they didn't ask any questions, or they didn't care to ask any questions, and we saved us some money, and then you know kept the van rolling until about May of last year or so. So
that is so much fun. Yeah, I would love that. Just explore from town to town, and just I love like like Pennsylvania is sick because every section of Pennsylvania, like you could be in a different county and they have their own iced tea that people drink, their own snack foods. Like you know what I mean? Like every little area has that. Like well, that building over there that has crazy history. Like every town has that, and I love it. Like I want to like learn that shit.
Yeah, it's traveling and seeing like the weird wackiness. I mean, Pennsylvania, to your point, right? Like you can go up to like this part of Pennsylvania versus going into the center of Pennsylvania versus going to Pittsburgh or Philly or up north near like Canada stuff. You just have a different cultures. Like, you know, it's like I love like my favorite place in the world, if I can ever whenever I am able to find it, is like just like a nasty, gross dive bar in Pennsylvania that serves no food, so I can still chain smoke inside while I drink a Yingling out of a dusty bottle. Like, and Pennsylvania
a
is
lot of those
rife
bars
with
I can take
that.
you
You
to.
know,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania is rife with that, and I love it. And there's other places out there in the country that are like that. And
you gotta
just to
hold
go,
your
I
breath
think,
when you go in the bathroom.
oh, I love it. Please give me the. I need a stained urinal cake smell every now and again to remind myself that I'm alive. You
I
know.
wish it was urinal cake smell in some of these places. It just smells like
Right.
13,000-year-old piss. Like it's just
Yeah.
There's this one bathroom.
Where's
I
all
love
sticky?
this place. It's like the CBGB of our area, and I don't want to like say it's all gross because it's not. But you can smoke in there. It has an old school bar feeling, but they still do food every now and then. But it's not something that makes up so much percentage, so they can still smoke. They won't allow people to go in there and do covers. Like every band that plays there has to be original music only.
Oh, I love
But
that. That's cool.
the bathroom is a small hallway, and it's just the worst smell of all for the men's room. It's bad. You're like there's no ventilation, so it just smells. And they go in, I dump a bucket of ice in it to try to do the best they can, but it's still a great place. I go to it all the time, or anytime I can.
We found a bar recently called the Lafayette Lounge in Easton. It's like they got like jazz on Wednesdays, and it's like Christmas lights up 24/7. You can still smoke inside. Same thing like hallway bathroom that hasn't been cleaned in 30 years. You know, I love those kinds of things. Like I have these like I mean I kind of oscillate between having even though I'm involved in the hospitality business. Like there's plenty of times where I haven't drank as a lifestyle. I just don't drink. There's like 2.5 year stint where I didn't drink. There's moments where I, you know, drink, I indulge, whatever. But like just I love being around it though. You know, like even if I'm not drinking, I like love going to a dive bar. I'll talk to the weird old dude that like swears that he met Johnny Cash and hung out with like all the people back in the day. You know, like that's what I'm here for. I just want to hear the weird stories. You know, people are just like I think people are realer when they're a little inebriated. You know, I think maybe
that's why I started this podcast. 100%. So if you when I first started this, I was doing a show called Interviews with Everyday People, and I would I wouldn't do it at bars, but that was essentially the premise of the concept. Like you go to a Pennsylvania bar and you have someone who just vicariously still living their high school days of when they threw 4 touchdown passes like Al Bundy, and they're fascinating. And to them, they are the most boring person ever. Like you have an amazing story. I can listen to you talk all day, but getting them in front of a camera, it's hard to get that magic you would get. But that's essentially how I started, just kind of going
That's
from
cool. I
person
didn't
to
know that.
person. Yeah, and now I do a lot of independent wrestlers because I also get really skeeved out of like I already suck at asking people to do interviews. I get really like self-conscious because I know a lot of people don't take podcasting seriously, or they think it's like because there's a lot of bad ones who ruin it for the good ones who work hard. But
Sure.
also like I don't want to cash in on people's tragedy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I heard you had a real fucked up story. You want to come talk about it? And they're like, no, I don't. And I'm like, all right, it's a fascinating story. I'd love to hear it if you ever want to tell it. So I got uncomfortable with that aspect too. So I'm just trying to find my place.
That's interesting that you mentioned that. I mean, I mean, I understand like not wanting to like bank in on someone's like horrible life event, right? But like, I think, I think what you're doing, like to be a guest, I mean, it's a privilege. I think I mean, I feel privileged to be on and be able to talk
Appreciate
and share my story, and I think a lot of people would feel that way as well. Like, there's not a lot of like, it's cool to be able to talk to a large audience of people that you may never meet in real life or like in person, you know. And it's cool to be able to talk about like your story and like what you've gone through. I mean, I actually feel like if you present it in a way, like people might even find it cathartic or healing, you know, to
That's what I'm going
if you
for. A
are
lot
just
there's a lot of times where I do interviews back in the day, my older content, and people be like, "Yo, you're having this person on?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Did you know that this person?" I was like, "Listen to the interview. Maybe that conversation will come up." And they would like I would
right.
get a message back, and they're like, "Yo, I reached out to that person, and I apologize for thinking this of them. And after your podcast, like we became friends." I was like, "I love
Oh, whoa,
that." Like,
okay. Good for
yeah,
you,
like
man.
yeah, I don't
Saving
care
the
if I had
world kind of.
12 views, but like that was a cool experience. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of stuff is what I like. You know.
I
But
love that.
what's that?
I said I love that. I mean, you're kind of a little superhero doing saving the world one friendship at a time. I love that.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But I don't know. It's cool. Like I'm very proud that like someone comes on here, we talk, and then because of the people I've met and connections I have, I'm like, oh, you would be a good fit to talk to this person, or maybe to work something with this person, or your mindset and this person's mindset are very similar, like past guests, and put people together. And some cool moments have happened, whether the podcast gets credit for it or not. Like I'm like, oh, you know, used to together is kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
wonder how
yeah.
that happened. Yeah, but God, I'm sorry. A little bit of delay.
I mean, that's kind of the cool thing, right? About I mean, one of the cooler parts of pro wrestling and being on the independent scene is just like it's like a large enough crowd where like if you're not around it, you won't run into people more than once. But like if you are
Mhm.
around it enough, you see the same. I mean, I've seen people like that I did a ring crew for. I'll do ring crew for some weird company that I've never heard of in like the middle of nowhere, South Jersey, and see somebody, and then a month later see them at PPW, and you're like, oh shit, man, how have you been? It's so good to see him. Like you're almost like like we were talking about Dio Bando earlier, right? And that dude's so nice. Like every time I see him, it's like we've been friends for like 20 years. Like, and I love
Mhm.
that part of. I mean, I love that one part of the independent scene. You know, it's really cool. It's like a nice. At the end of the day, like everyone involved in pro wrestling is a bit of a nut job. Like if you think you're not whacked, like you're wrong. Like there's a reason
Yeah.
that we pursue bodily injury and the adulation of strangers, right? Because we got something a little crossed upstairs. So it's nice to be able to like relate and meet other weirdos and feel a little less kooky, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's dive into it. We've done like
Yeah.
15 minutes. We haven't gotten to a question. I love that. That's a great sign of a possibly a long podcast. If we have to cut out, just give me the like, yo, that's enough. But when did you fall in love with the industry of professional wrestling?
Dude, it's been a lifelong thing. Like, pro wrestling was always big in my family, in my extended family's household, right? So my grandparents and my great uncles and all them were like first generation to America at around the time that Bruno San Martino was like the name, right? And so I think I mean I speculate, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that they kind of saw him as like a cultural icon and a cultural hero, and like they
Yeah,
kind
he
of
was like
at
the
a time
Italian Jesus. Yeah.
100%, you know. So wrestling to them was very important, and then just growing up, like we were always watching wrestling. We were always watching Raw. My uncles were always power bombing me and show some of my cousins, and me and my cousins are always like, we bought the rings and the action figures, and it was always around. And then, but the moment I remember like coming online and like being like, oh, this is the shit that I like. This is cool. Was I went to go see I can't remember the name of the federation. It's long since closed, but I want to say National Wrestling Superstars. in Jersey. They used to run in Manville, New Jersey at the VFW. And the main event that night was Balls Mahoney versus Nikolai Volkov, far past both of their, time on the mainstay. And dude, I just remember like having such a good time, like watching these two dudes at like what a wacky combination, right? Like the 6-year-old Russian man and Balls Mahoney just going at it in the ring
Yeah.
in this VFW with all these people that like probably had nothing in common other than their love of wrestling and just being able to feel that sense of like togetherness and watch this amazing form of entertainment and art and just like having like the best time of my life. And I was like, this is if I could be part of this in any way at any point in my life, I'll be forever grateful. And I'm very proud and humbled to say that I have, over the past year and a half or so, started that journey.
Yeah. And like you said, we kind of had one backstage. We were backstage before we talked about, but like you have those moments where you see something backstage or an interaction between two people. You're like, God, I love this business. Like the fact I just witnessed that is fucking crazy.
Right. And you're not going to see anything like that anywhere else other than independent pro wrestling.
Yeah, I totally agree. I even just doing meet and greets at PPW for the longest time, like I developed like these weird connections and friendships with the fans, right? Because that commentary, unless they don't hear me, unless they're going back and watching it on TV, and you don't get a lot of like feedback as a commentator person in this industry. I've gotten very, very little, but I got more love from being the meet and greet guy, and just like every month being the guy sitting with the talent who goes and then meets the fans and then watching them have their interactions. It's like, it's super beautiful. And like some of the things that they come up with or questions or whatever, it just, oh man, they'll be in here forever. Like, just like the most wild things of all time. I can't even, I wish I had a list of like craziest ones, but it's fucking awesome. Like this independent wrestling is so much fun.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, like, I think my favorite part of it too is that it runs the social gamut, right? There is no, you see every kind of person. I
Yeah.
mean, even at the last PPW show, like you saw all walks of life, and they were all able to put their bullshit aside for however long the show was, and just be there and enjoy. And dude, it's such a beautiful thing. Like it really is. Like I'm not one to get super sappy and sentimental. Like I'd rather just bust your nose up in the ring, But if I take a minute to step back and just appreciate the beauty of pro wrestling, like it really is one of the most wonderful things, like that humanity I think has ever offered to the world. Really.
Yeah. It's a great form of entertainment. So what type of kid were you growing up? Were you an athlete, an artsy kid? Like, where did you fall in? What group did you fall into?
I was a super like goody two shoes. Like I never got in trouble. I didn't smoke weed till I like moved to Colorado when I was like 21. I didn't drink really in high school. Like, mom and dad they did their best and they were awesome. I was in the skateboarding crowd. I mean, me and my cousins were like into wrestling. That was our thing. Outside of the family, like into skateboarding, played sports a little bit up until like it got competitive, and then I was like, I don't really want a grown man yelling at me, Like I don't want this 40-year-old dude yelling at me while I'm 10 because I didn't fucking make the touchdown. Also, is cursing okay? I don't even know if
Yeah,
I
you're
asked for
good.
good
You're
on
good.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I didn't want the grown man yelling at me, So, um, and then I got into art in high school. Went to school for art in college, which I mean, if I could going to art school is like one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my entire life. I had a great time doing it, but like if I could go back, I wouldn't have
more
done
than
it.
pro wrestling.
Oh, 100%. Like, dude, no, 100%. Like, I can unequivocally say that I have never made a single fucking dime off of my art, but I at least made a few bucks and a handshake out of pro wrestling. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
You
yeah, no,
make
pro
art to
wrestling is.
sell?
Yeah, I'm just not very. I mean, honestly, like, if I'm looking at myself in the mirror, like, I just like it's one of those things where like, I thought I was really passionate about it. And when push came to shove and it came time to like be self motivated, I just didn't give a shit about it really anymore. Like, it's still at this point, it's a
If
fun.
you're an artist, you can make good merch. That
Well, that's the
art can
thing is
weave
like
into your wrestling. Yeah.
well, there's definitely things that have taken away from my time, like the technical ability to actually make merch and design and stuff like that. I'm very appreciative of learning that skill because you're right, it does make the creative end of wrestling a little bit easier. But um, yeah, I mean, my friend group in high school was like basically all the weirdos and misfits and like punk rock kids that really didn't fit in, and like we just kind of did our own thing. And I mean, we were lucky in the sense that like there were so many of us that like no one really messed with us at all. Like they just kind of let us do our own thing. So it was super cool. I don't really feel like I remember. I don't know if it was like all the partying I did in college or my early 20s, but like high school and childhood's kind of a blur. I was outside a lot, you know. I mean, we hung out in the woods a lot. We hung out by the river a lot. I mean, shit like that. Getting into like small town kid trouble, you know, like just doing stupid things, laying off fireworks, like just doing that kind of thing. And then yeah, college. And then once college was over, I like kind of told myself I was just going to travel and go to different cities and see what the world had to offer. And so kind of did that for a long time. And now we're like kind of adulting, I guess. Like I said, I got a car payment and a rent payment and bills and trying to eat healthy and have an apartment and settled a little bit, but still pursuing whack. I don't need your opinion. All right, that's my dog over there trying to chime in, but
What
just
kind
doing
of dog you
wacky things
got?
now. He is a 14-pound Pomapoo named Shrimp. Come here. You come here?
Make it running.
He's bad. He's not even he's kind of a jerk. Like he's just a great dog, but like when you want him to actually do something, he's like, nah, I don't think so, dude. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
I'm not gonna be your little dancing monkey over here.
No, absolutely not. He's got a mind of his own. He's too smart for his own good. So
Yeah. So how did you start to pursue the wrestling industry and finding your school?
this is gonna be a little bit of a longish kind of story, but I'm also gonna catch a lot of heat. So I was living in Philadelphia. Me and my girlfriend were in Philadelphia at the time, living there, and we both absolutely hated Philadelphia. Like I don't care. Like I'm sorry. Like I know a lot of people out there have love for Philadelphia, and like it's got great food, it's got great culture, it's got a lot of great things. But like Philadelphia is not a city that I ever. Okay, listen. All right, you might be on my.
Yeah,
You
I'm
might be
not
on
I'm
my
not too
side.
happy with that city right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I absolutely unequivocally hated that city. I hated every single day that I was in that city, and I could not wait to get out. And so my girlfriend, I think, saw that. And at that point, she knew how much of a fan I was of wrestling, and I kind of always made the remark that, oh, I could, maybe give that a go one day. So she for Christmas one year, she got me like a really great like intro 101 kind of abridged course that they sold at the factory. Um, they do like 101. You can either do like the full I'm in 100% curriculum, or you can do these bite-sized pieces. And she got me one for Christmas, and like it was off to the races. So I didn't know anything about, I mean, I knew of Chikara, I didn't really make the connection to them in the factory. Um, and also the first day of training, I had the wrong address because I thought they were still in Philly. So I showed up to training the first day to an empty building, and I was like, "Oh my god, I just got the business." I was like, "This dude just took my money and skipped town." I was like, "I what this is crazy." And then after looking at their new website, I found out they were in Copley, so I just like busted my ass then to get to Copley. Um, yeah, so I did their 101, and that was about 7 weeks. And then as we were talking a little bit earlier, we did the whole van life thing. And so I kind of, you know, left for a year. And the entire time I was like in the van, like which was great. I was just thinking about Copley and the factory and getting back to training and like on long drives when my girlfriend was asleep, I would just like cut promos to myself in the car and think of entrance gear and think of all that kind of stuff. And then once the van thing was over, we were trying to figure out where we're going to live. And I was like, listen, I know you don't really like the winters, and you've also 100% vetoed living in New Jersey, which I totally get. Like, I don't blame you for that one. But if we could, I was
It's
like,
way
it would
worse than
mean the
Philly.
world. Listen, I'm from Jersey, so it'll always have a spot in my heart. We can talk about that later. Like, I'm not gonna throw too much shade on that, but I was like, if you could at least live in Pennsylvania close to Copley, like it would mean the world to me. And she's a great girl, and so we decided to move to Easton so I could pursue and be closer to the factory. And it's just been kind of off to the races from there. So
Now, is she a pro wrestling fan? Will she
uh,
watch it with you or get into it?
I think when we first started dating, she was just really nice about it and was like, "Oh, it's just a weird, quirky thing he's into," and had really no idea that it was going to encapsulate my entire life until I couldn't do it anymore. But now, after I think the first year we dated, we went to an AEW show in Newark, New Jersey, and she was like, "This is the coolest thing ever." And I was like, "Isn't it the best thing ever?" But I was like, "But you gotta wait until you go to like an independent show, like, because like the big shows are awesome for what they are, but you don't really get to see what pro wrestling is until you go to a small venue." And so now that she's been going to like the independents with me, like she's a total fan. She's totally hooked. She always makes sure she has her front row ticket whenever I'm going somewhere. If we go to a show, she wants to be there from the time that the doors open till the time that like the ring crew
Is that what
truck is
she
leaving.
boo
You
you?
know?
Does she
Oh,
buy into it
100%.
that
Yeah, 100%.
yeah,
She definitely boos me. There's no cheering
yeah,
me, and I get that. You know, I mean, listen,
I love
she loves me,
it.
but she knows how much of a bastard I can be in that ring. You know, and
Yeah.
if she wasn't booing me, I'd be upset.
I love that. That's so awesome. So how was it finding your beginning stages in professional wrestling and getting adjusted to it?
I mean, like the person that you see in the ring is not. I mean, is not far off from the person that I am in real life. So it was a pretty easy adjustment. I mean, aside from like I mean, to take nothing away from like the physicality and the athleticism, like that's the hardest part. Um, the bumps. I mean, as sick and twisted as it was, I remember taking my first bump and being like, "Oh yeah, that's the good stuff," you know. So like that was a pretty easy adjustment, but just getting your body used to doing all these kinds of weird, unnatural things that like your body isn't meant to do, you know, and taking some beatings and getting back up and continuing and getting some more, you know, beatings laid on you. Um, but I had done a lot of things in my life that I think like at the time I didn't know exactly what the purpose of those things were, but I knew that like but I found out later in wrestling, like I used to play music and like I used to like do that in front of people and I was really, really bad at it. And like none of my friends like told me, they just like let me be bad at it, you know? And so looking back on it, like I remember my first wrestling show, like being really nervous for a second and then being like, bro, you used to just like play really bad music in front of strangers all the time and you didn't care at all and like you know you had no problems doing that so like here's this thing that you've actually put work and time into that you're pretty okay at, like don't be nervous, you know. um yeah, I mean I've had the good fortune of just kind of understanding who I am as a person most of my life, I will say, so I think that makes the wrestling a little bit easier because it's just like I'm gonna go out there and do my thing and I'm gonna put 110% into it and give everyone their money's worth, but if they don't like it then they can kind of pound sand, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, I
That's
love
kind of how
that.
I
That's
feel
so
about it.
I've been hearing a lot of people who maybe they didn't grow up playing sports or they didn't do collegiate wrestling or they didn't do that stuff. But so it's like I always try to wrap my head of like if you've never done like a 2 a day or a 3 a day or insane physical exertion and your first experience is pro wrestling, that's gonna be insanely hard. But then a lot of people I'm hearing of like, oh, well, I skateboarded, and I was like, oh, that's you're essentially teaching yourself how to bump before professional wrestling because you're falling all the time. Like,
Right,
and
yeah.
falling on a mat on a wrestling ring sucks, but it's way better than smashing your head on the concrete. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I wasn't a big sports guy, but like I definitely like my dad got me into like me and my dad have always been close, but we definitely bonded in my like mid-20s over like going to the gym together. You know, like my dad's a gym rat, he's a maniac. He like works construction, but he'll go to the gym at like 3 o'clock in the morning before he goes to his job. So like he's about the gym, you know. So
before his job.
yeah, it's crazy. He's an animal. I don't get it. But so he got me in the gym
Yikes.
pretty, you know, I've been going to the gym and just I get that mindset too, like where if I'm gonna do something physical, like I mean, at a certain point, obviously, you got to train and practice to be athletic, but like, there's a part of it too that I think is mind over matter, right? Like, the human body is capable of a lot of crazy things if you just kind of like grit your teeth and just like do it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm not, and at no point am I like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm this like great athlete and that like it all came naturally to me. Like, I fuck up in practice all the time. I mean, I fuck up in matches all the time, and like, I'm definitely clumsy and slow at times, and could be doing a lot better athletically, but I mean, I just give it my all and try to go for it, you know? Because like, what else?
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking earlier, like I'm like old as shit comparatively to anyone else that started. Like, you know, I started at 29, which is old, I think, for this industry. So whenever I get a chance to go in there and go in the ring, whether it's practice or whether it's a show, like I'm just trying to give my best and not blow out my knees. That's my biggest concern right now. My knees are shit. But
Yeah.
you know, tape them up and we're good to go, hopefully. So
What are have you experienced any setbacks or had to overcome any adversities?
I mean, no, I mean like not really. I mean, I feel real fortunate. Like I said, the van thing, like fucking off for a year and stopping training, like wasn't an adversity. Like it was a choice that I made, and I'm really glad that
Yeah.
I did it. But I'm also really glad that I was able to like understand how much I truly loved wrestling and came back to it. Um, you know, everyone at the factory where I train is like super welcoming and super nice. And then like other than like at this point in my life, like just my knees are kind of shot. I've been very fortunate. Like I have had some really cool opportunities. With the school, outside of the school, at other promotions, like, and I mean, I attribute that partly to like I don't know if I just like karmically have some good karma behind me, but also if I take a little bit of credit, like I have this kind of mindset where if you do what you want to do and you do it to the best of your ability, and you're like as positive as you can be while doing it, like things happen for you, you know,
Yeah.
like. A lot of things I've done in my life, a lot of things I do now where like I don't want to do them. Like, I don't like but like they're necessary and I just try to do the best I can and try to be like a decently positive person while I do it. And I've just found that if that's the mindset that I can kind of go with, like doors open and things line up and good fortune blows my way. So there's a lot of like gratefulness to like the universe or whatever out there that like I show because I don't know. Like I've been super lucky. I get to do this thing that like we all have the ability to do it, but like whatever. I mean, there's plenty of people that have like different barriers to entry, whether it's financial or commuting or physical this or mental whatever. But like I've been super super lucky, and I get to go do this thing that I'm like pretty okay at, and I get to beat people up on the weekends, and I get to have people like despise me, which is such a good feeling. I
Getting a
absolutely love
crowd in
it.
your hands is wild. When when you've made them sell on something is that's a pretty crazy high. Um,
Yeah,
I
I
haven't I
love it,
haven't
man.
had it in the form of a pro wrestling in full, but I've had a few moments where I had engagement with the crowd while being a ring announcer or whatever it may be, and it's definitely a really big endorphin rush when you're like, oh, I did that, I said that, and people
Yeah,
responded, or yeah, that's
yeah.
fun. What are some key moments or accomplishments that you've had so far?
I mean, there's been some really cool things that I've gotten to do. I mean, I think right now what I'm most proud of is there's a couple things. So the Wrestle Factory where I train, we just started a promotion called Royalty Wrestling. And we're gonna have our third show in February on the 15th out in Sellersville. But just being a part of that and like kind of seeing what it looks like to help build a promotion from the ground up has been really rewarding. Just I mean, I'm not involved on the promoting end or the booking end. I just go there, I build a ring and I kick ass and I try to do the best I can for that company. But being able to be on the back end of that and see how that's kind of coming about is super cool and super rewarding. And like, the booker right now is Danny, from the factory. He's a great booker, he's got a great mind. So being able to work with him is phenomenal. And then I'm sure Selrina, right? She's been around the circuit forever. She's the new promoter. And being able to see her like in that role as well is super awesome, and to be able to support that is just really rewarding. I know we met at PPW, right? And that was just like that classic shtick of like come in, build a ring, have your gear in the car, and hopefully they got a spot for you. And fortunately, Paul's been great, and I've been able to get on the dark matches every time that I go there to build a ring. So those are both awesome. It's like the next step, right? Like it's one thing to train and it's one thing to do like a student match at your school where all your family and friends are there and they're going to cheer you and whatever, no matter how bad you suck or don't suck. But it's a whole other thing to like go out and like make connections and have bookings and get bookings and work out in the real world. And that's been like the most rewarding thing so far. I got a really cool opportunity like around Mania. It was at Mania. I got a really cool opportunity to like be part of Drew's entrance for WrestleMania last year. Like before I even had a match, before I really even like had a pair of wrestling boots. That was phenomenal. That was such a I mean, as a lifelong fan, like I got to hold a sword in front of 70,000 people at the link while Drew McIntyre walks past me, and only because I had long hair and a beard. That was like the only qualifying component of that, and like
Did you
so.
hand him the sword?
No, I just held it up and he walked under it. That was it, and then I got
Oh,
to
okay,
eat
okay, I didn't
catering,
remember. Yeah.
and I got to eat catering and watch Mania from a really great seat. But it was funny. I mean, I was having a conversation with my mom like not even a week prior, where she's like, "Hey, like this wrestling thing is really cool, but like." it's probably like you're never gonna work for WWE, you know? And I was like, yeah, I know, like I know, but like this is just I want to see how far I can take it. And then like the next week I get this email and I'm like, oh, guess what? I'm gonna get, and so it was pretty
I'm having my WrestleMania moment.
right. I don't even I can't even do a suplex yet, but I'm having a WrestleMania moment. I'm gonna live in that glory for until I die. I'm milk that cow forever, So
That is
I mean,
fucking insane. I didn't know you were part of that.
yeah, that was super cool.
I'm actually, as you're saying, I'm pulling something up right now. If I'm loading
yeah,
it.
I'm like in the very front too. It was cool too. The guy that, if you look, I'm like one of the first people. Yeah, right. Nope. I'm like, I think I'm behind him. I'm behind the guy in the very first. Like I'm the second guy in on the left. Because I can see
So
my
you're behind the guy
tattoos.
with the red. Oh yeah, I see your tattoos right there. Yep.
Yeah. So, and the coolest part of that is the guy across from me is I don't know if you're familiar with Casanova Valentine. He does a lot of really cool like death matches with No Fear City. I just met a lot of great guys that night, even just chatting it up, in catering. It was super cool. It was
I don't
a
know why that
great,
one's so blurry and shitty looking. That's super cool.
yeah, it was fun, so that was a great time. So no, wrestling has been very good to me in a very short amount of time. So I've got no complaints about how it's going.
That's sick. You gotta if they ever make a Drew figure with that gear, you gotta buy it because that's your mania
Right,
spot.
right. Well, I tried selling the gear in the parking lot afterwards. I was like, anybody want to
Really?
buy a kilt? No, I mean, kind of, yeah. I was like trying to make a
Oh.
joke about trying to hawk the kilt and the boots because we got to keep the kilt. They took the swords back, but we got to keep the kilt, so that's pretty awesome.
So you still have the kilt?
I do, yeah, and the
Yeah,
boots.
never get rid of that. That's super cool.
No, I did, yeah. So
This kilt I wore at WrestleMania.
yeah, yeah, dude. It's pretty
That's
wacky. I mean, and then
that
also
is
like just
fucking
as
nuts.
not even as a wrestler, but even as a fan, like being able to walk through Gorilla was like what a high,
Yeah,
like
some people get jazzed up when they do extra work on a Monday Night Raw. You were part of a WrestleMania entrance.
yeah, yeah, which was awesome. And
That's
like, like I said, no credit of my own. It was just like I happened to know someone that knew somebody that knew somebody, and they just needed an extra person who had like really long, scraggly hair and a big beard. And I was like, you know, it was pure
telling
luck.
me there was a chance. I was in Mania. I have.
Right,
It
right.
could have been me.
Yeah,
My
so
beard's not as cool as yours though. But that's fucking sick. Influences or role models, whether in the business or personally.
I mean, there's a bunch. Like, I'll start with in the business. Like, I mean, looking at people that I've never met, like one of my all-time favorite wrestlers that I just don't think gets enough credit is Balls Mahoney. John Reckner is just such a great like that. I mean, he got kind of, from what I know from watching his matches and listening to street interviews and documentaries, like that dude like cared and loved the business so much. It was actually like a super talented, like him and Candido like would train constantly. Is technically super sound, and he just kind of got saddled with this like bullshit hardcore, not bullshit, but he got saddled with the hardcore thing, right? Like, and then that kind of like that was it for him, But I mean, like we alluded to it earlier, but like I'm from Jersey, so anytime that I can like root on like a Jersey boy, like I'm all about it. The blood runs deep. I might not live there anymore, but like my heart is still there. So that's huge influence. Obviously, like you can't look at me and not think that I love Bruiser Brody.
Yeah.
Like all time, like like I mean, I like pray to him before every match. I'm like, Bruiser, dear Saint Bruiser Brody, please let this match be a good one.
That's a huge reason why I wore this today. I wore
There we go.
the
Yeah,
Brody
yeah.
Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the lineage is strong. I mean, and there's just been tons of people in my life. Like I'm surrounded by like a really great group of people. My family's always been really supportive. Both mom and dad have always been great. I mean, they make it out to basically every show in Pennsylvania. My girlfriend's super supportive. I've got some really great friends from high school that two brothers that we've been friends since fifth grade. I've got a really great friend out in California that we don't see each other much, like very much anymore, but like he's always commenting, reposting, pumping me up. Just I'm very fortunate in the life that I live right now with the people I have around me, and
I
they're
love that.
definitely inspirations. Last summer I'm not really into the whole manual labor thing, but I got roped into building a deck in like the middle of summer, and I texted my dad after, and I was like, "Hey, I was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I don't know, I didn't know how badass you actually were, because he's worked construction his whole life and all the elements, like whether it's 90 degrees or -10, like the man's always gone to work." And I was like, "I want you to know, like, I never knew how badass you were, and also having gone through building a deck, the fact that you've done this for 30 years to support me and my mother is like the sweetest thing that a human being has ever done for me, and I really appreciate that, And that, I mean, like, if it wasn't for him breaking his back every day, like, I wouldn't have had like the nice cushy life that I had growing up, and had been able to explore my passions and my dreams with as much abandon as I did. So yeah, big much love to Pops. I mean, and Mom too. I mean, Mom's always been, I mean, I'm a mama's boy at heart, I'm not gonna lie, but
She didn't build any decks, though. Who'd she ever beat?
she didn't build any decks. She just ran the house with everything clean. And then my girlfriend, I gotta give love
Sorry,
to my
Mom. I'm just
girlfriend.
making a joke. Don't beat me up, Mom.
She might be. She's the one you gotta watch. I mean, my dad is a badass
Jersey
and
girl,
wonderful.
yeah,
My
yeah,
mom's
terrified.
my mom's the one you gotta watch out for. She's got a mean left hook. She's scarier than I am, actually. I watch out for her.
Yeah, that's
And
why.
then
That's
my
why
girlfriend, man.
people think that you don't pump gas in Jersey because they don't like. They just want they want to keep you in your car and get you out of
Right.
your. You know what I mean? Stay in. Well, you stay in. We'll take care of it. Just get
Right.
the hell out of here.
I don't want you
Don't
in my
make left
face,
turns either. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
What goals? Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Anyone
I would
else?
just
Is it?
I mean, my girlfriend, I gotta give her a shout out. Like, she is such a wonderful woman that like really supports my dream and goes along for the 12-hour days, 13-hour days, driving me around, dealing with me hobbling around the house, and making sure there's freaking, creatine and cooked chicken in the fridge. Like, she's just, without her, she's also the one that like actually got me into training. Like, without her, I don't know if I ever would have had like the impetus to actually, do it. So make sure I shout her out
Awesome.
too.
Goals you have set for yourself personally or in the industry?
I mean, within the industry, like, my thing is, I always, and this may sound kind of weird, but like, I don't necessarily have like big picture goals in terms of like, my brain works in a way where like I like to break things down into smaller goals so that I can like, I feel like if I can achieve smaller goals that eventually like add up to like bigger goals, it's like how I've always
100%.
been more successful in life. At first it was just like, my goal was just to train, and then my goal was to train more, and then my goal was to have my first match, and then like, recently my goal has been like, after my student matches at the factory, excuse me, um, my goal was to just have like a match out in the wild, and so having done that at PPW and kind of getting my, starting to cut my teeth, like, my goals right now really are just to start booking more shows, and just instead of working once or twice a month, like trying to get like 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 bookings a month, and that's, I mean, that'll take a long time. I'm just working on it slowly but surely. Like I said, I've got some things coming down the pike. I'll be at Royalty in February on the 15th in Sellersville. I'll be back at PPW. I've got some things maybe happening in Maine, maybe some things in North Carolina. So those are the really what I'm set on right now, and then a little big picture beyond that. I mean, at some point, right? I mean, I want a belt at some promotion. I mean, not now, but there's gonna come a time where Brother Bedlam's gonna have a belt, and whoever has to try to come take that belt off, he's gonna have a hell of a time. So we'll bide my time until that happens. But
The
like I
biggest
said,
thing
take
for
it as like,
you, as I feel, you lock down that character. The in-ring, like
yeah,
in-ring, like obviously you're still young, you're still new. The in-ring stuff that'll come, but you don't have to be super amazing in the ring in this industry. Like, you just need to know basics to get through. But if you can sell a strong character, and I think right now, like even with PPW, they don't really know where to put you because they're not sure
right,
what your character is, but you have a good
yeah.
enough look and a different enough look that you're like, there's something here. But if you come with that blueprint already established, I think you're gonna go further along.
I think you're 100% right. I think you hit the nail right on the head. And admittedly, too, like, I don't necessarily know what the character is, right? And like, and I think that'll come with time. I mean, it's just a matter of nailing it down. Like, but I think to understand and to get that character locked down, I have to, like, I think, go through a bunch of dumb shit that like might never work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to go through the bad decisions in
Yeah.
any creative process to get to the good stuff. So,
There's a guy in
you
the
know,
scene called the Dude. He just
yeah,
comes out, looks like a hippie, and he literally wrestles. Like I'm not saying he can't, because when that kid has to go, he can. He's very Orange Cassidy deceiving, where he's very, very talented, but he sticks to the 5 or 6 things that, like, oh, we got to do the gummy spot, we got to do this spot, I'm going to do this spot. But he also knows how to make that character work with somebody else's character, and how we were talking
yeah,
about before the show started. You have to show your ass sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, things don't always work, but he can do goofy spots that by the end of the day, everyone wants to buy his merch. Everybody wants to talk to him. He cannot keep people away from him the entire show, but he has this wrestling style that he'll wrestle till he's 45, 50, because the
right.
character of the Dude is more about the character and less about the moves.
And that's really, I mean, people might get mad, but like at the end of the day, it's like what wrestling really is. Like, especially
Yeah.
the casual fan. Like, the casual fan wants to be part of the show. The casual fan wants interaction. The casual fan wants to have an emotional connection. The casual fan does not give a shit about the 450. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love seeing a 450. I love seeing all kinds of crazy moves. But like, A, you're gonna save your body and be able to work and enjoy it until you're much older, right? And B, like I like that's you got 5 moves of doom, and you've got a great character that the audience can connect with, whether they love it or they hate it. That's the money. I mean, you're spot
Yep.
on. I mean, I think, but that's the thing. I think to make that point, though, to that point, like, they either have to love you or they have to hate you. I don't think like liking or disliking is enough. But as you were saying, like, I think as I develop this character, I think I have the notion that a lot of people are going to hate me, and I'm very excited to be hated, as
But
I
I
figure
also
out.
think it's gonna be cool to hate you, but also cool to love to hate you, if that makes sense too, because that's essentially where
Yeah,
all heels eventually go.
right. You can't unless you. I'm trying to think of one heel that really truly was a heel forever, and I'm having a hard time thinking about it because at a certain point, you could be as nasty and as vicious as you want, but when you have to show your ass and when you have to humanize your character and people relate to that, like, they start to like you. And that's why,
I think the
you
only one
can't.
who actually coded that really well, where everyone's like, "I don't know about this guy, and I just hate him," and sometimes they question his ability in the ring too, which I thought was a mistake. Was Baron Corbin? Baron Corbin always
Okay.
found a way to always be like, he's a dirtball, like he's an
Yeah.
arrogant scumbag, but he was like, he was good. He was good at what he did.
Yeah. I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, no, now that you bring it up, like, Baron Corbin's a great example. Like, and it also was interesting because, like, no matter really, because, like, you were able to hate him for different reasons, you know?
Mhm.
But he's always an underlying just kind of a scumbag. That's a really great point that you bring up.
Yeah. Um, Besides professional wrestling, when you're not bartending and making drinks, whether they're getting people up or getting people drunk, and
Right.
pro wrestling, what hobbies or interests do you have outside the industry?
Nature's a big one. Obviously, like, the impetus for the van thing was to be able to. We ended up hiking in 26 national parks over the course of
Wow.
that year.
No
Yeah,
Wendigos got you. You're still you no missing 401s. That's good.
yeah. No Wendigos, no skinwalkers, no Bigfoots. We avoided all the cryptids. Unfortunately, I would like to have seen something out there, but
Yeah,
yeah,
at least
hiking
at
is a
least a
big one for
squonk
me.
or something, you know?
At least something. A squonk would be great. I don't.
Yeah,
I think I could
that's
beat. I
the
think I
one you
could beat
wanna
a
see.
squonk too. I
Yeah.
think I could kick a squonk right in the head and be
You can
fine.
pick them up. They're not gonna bite you. They're just gonna puddle. They're gonna let you get them, and
Right,
then they're gonna puddle out on you.
right. So hiking's great. We live in a really awesome. I live in Easton, which is great because there's so many. I haven't been able to, like, really take advantage of it because we got here September, so, like, it got kind of cold, kind of quick. But there's so much nature around, whether it's the river, going to the Gap, going down to Jersey. They're just hiking. Go to the gym a lot. Whether I don't really look like I'm in the greatest physique because my diet's absolute dog shit, but whether I'm actually going to train seriously or just going to the gym to stay in a good place in my head, love going to the gym. A big foodie, like, especially in this part of, like, living in Easton. There's so many great restaurants. I mean, me and my girlfriend on the weekends typically eat out probably more than we should. Um, we do a lot of thrifting, a lot of home decoration. There's a more
Thrifting's fun.
sensitive side to Brother Bedlam that people don't necessarily see all the time, but I like to decorate my house real nice.
Do you
Anytime
collect things? Are you a
traveling,
collector?
I am a collector of one very specific thing.
Okay. I was getting that
So
vibe.
it's one thing, and I don't think anyone. And when I say it, people are gonna be kind of like, "What the fuck?" the band The Misfits put out
Okay.
3 3/4 inch action figures over the course of the past like 6 years, and I don't care. It has not mattered how much money I've had or how broke I have been. It did not matter. Like I will go and they sit in a box in the closet, and I never take them out. But just knowing that I have them all just feels like a win. Every morning, no matter what's happened in my life, at least I know that I have all these action figures. You know, um,
My
I'm a
favorite
big.
band, Ghost, did a Misfit
Oh
spoof
yeah,
where it looked like a Misfit shirt, but it was Papa's face. But the Ghost,
that's amazing.
yeah,
Oh, I love
they
that. The Ghost
they
is
all
great too. I love
they make
Ghost.
so many good parody spoof T-shirts like
Yeah,
Jaws and Shining, and I love that band so
yeah,
much.
Ghost is great. But, like, right now, no, I'm not really there's been so many times in my life where I've just, like, gotten rid of everything, just to either even before living in a van, like, I was always traveling. I was always, like, doing music and traveling or just traveling to travel or, like, moving to a new city, so, like, I didn't I've gotten rid of a lot of things over the years. I'm a big, like, book collector. I'm not a big reader in that way, though, like, I like having them and, like, one day maybe I'll read them, but I like to have the books in my possession. Um, but yeah, no,
Like,
like right.
is there a certain style of book you like, or like, do you collect a certain like? Are you like a autobiography, or do you have like a what's his name, Stephen King collection? Like, what do you
Right, right,
collect?
right. I collect a lot of art books because there's not a lot of words, and I can look at the pretty pictures and just,
There you go.
enjoy looking at paintings and sculptures,
Pop
so I like
Pop-up
those.
books need to make a comeback. Remember how cool
Right, I
pop-up books
agree.
were? Yeah,
Hell yeah,
we
I know
need
a really
adult
great I
pop-up books.
yeah, there we go. Maybe that'll be the next maybe that'll be the first, Brother Bedlam merch will be a pop-up book. I'll have to give you some royalties off that. Um, but, not a big collector. I mean, but we are, like, in this stage of, like, when we lived in the van, we kinda got rid of everything and kinda sold a bunch of things, so now we're, like, in this really fun part where, like, we're starting to get cool things like this antelope head, around our house. That's been fun. But I'm big into cooking, big into eating, and then we talked earlier before the show, like, going to, like, weird, like, the Vampa Museum in Doylestown and stuff like that. Just, like, whatever kinda off the road, offbeat thing I could find, typically spend some time doing that.
Now, when you said you went to art school, are you into like painting or stuff like that?
I
Have you ever
spent a month.
seen I'm sorry, have you ever seen the guy who goes to thrift stores? He'll buy a painting and then he'll paint something into the painting, but he tries to match the same style so it blends in really. Like he'll take like the famous diner thing and then paint everything
Yeah,
out and put like Bob's Burgers in it. He's on
I can't
TikTok. I
recall his
fucking
name.
love him.
Yeah. No, I love shit like that. So, I knew exactly. I don't remember his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
I watch
So
him
yeah,
all the time.
it's so good. Yeah, I went to school. I spent a bunch of money and a bunch of time, going to art school and to paint, as a painter. I mean, which, we were talking about a little bit earlier, like, I don't know if I had the chance to do it again, I don't know if I would do that. It was a lot of money and time to paint, but I had a great time, like, I learned but the one thing I will say is that it definitely helps you out in the creative aspect no matter what you do to be able to think in that way, um, and I, had a really good time being able to make some paintings for a couple of years in college, but, yeah, to answer your question, a lot of painting, a lot of sculpture, and a lot of printmaking. I got really into printmaking near the end of my time in college. A lot of monoprints, a lot of silk screening, a lot of stuff like that.
I I thought of another merch idea for you that I think would be super sick. So say like you develop this character, right? And you're gonna be this wild man, Manson family style guy, right? You have like an artsy side, but you're still kind of weird. But like most good cult leaders get people with their pop culture and they get them with the art and they get them with that. So say like you're doing this whole rivalry of just example, Dio Bando. Go buy a bunch of small little 8x10 canvases, like 5 or 6 of them, paint relatively close to the same thing on all 5 or 6, but each one has its own little different thing of just like creepy envisioned versions of like what you're gonna do to Dio, and it's like a Dio, you and your opponent, and then at the show be like, these are my paintings that like these will only be for this rivalry, and then it's something you get to keep for
Uh,
yourself, but then it's something you can give to your opponent, and then you can make money off the rest of them. But like if you're talented to paint,
that's good.
lean that into your character. I think that'd be super
Oh
dope of
no,
like
you
a
froze. I mean,
madman
am I
Bedlam
freezing?
painting.
Oh, there we go. I heard
Yeah.
most of what you said, and I love that idea. That's so good because you're right. Every cult leader like they have an album, right, or some paintings. or
Yeah.
something. That's a great idea. I might, all right. I'm gonna have to start writing you some royalty checks though pretty soon once this stuff
No,
gets off the
I just get
ground.
me a paint. I want a painting at one point in
Yeah,
time.
$100.
Make me a small 8x10 one, like a tiny one, hang up back
You
there.
got it. I do
So
have.
this one right here, it looks like a square, like a little triangle with an eyeball in the middle of it. So
Yeah.
these little kids just were going door to door, and they're like, "Hey, we're just trying to make a couple bucks to buy something. We made all these little cool arts. Would you want to buy one?" And I was like, I was so broke. I had no money. I was in between jobs at the time. I was freshly off a divorce. I had nothing going for myself, and I had like a 20 sitting in my drawer. And I'm like,
Okay.
how much for the little Illuminati looking one? And they're like $5. I go, take the 20. I love it. Thank you so much. And
That's
it's still
amazing.
there right now. Just like
That's fucking awesome.
they were ballsy enough to go door to door with their little paintings. Like,
Hell yeah. That's
yeah, I love
awesome.
that.
And also like it's really cool. Like I think like having like I like your mind. I mean, I like that story too because like you said you're kind of on the balls of your feet, but you still like saw these kids trying to do it, like make a hustle and make some money, and like I think that's really admirable. Like people that give when they don't have much to give, I like really commend you for that. I think if
Yeah.
we all kind of had that mindset, I think the world would be a much better place.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool that they were doing it. I gave them a lot of love for it. And then my mom's
That's
like, "What did you
awesome.
just buy?" I'm like, "I just bought a painting off a little kid."
That's amazing. I'm gonna tell you right now. From here on out, whatever new merch I make, you'll get. I'll send one to you, no matter what it is. So I got 8x10s coming this week, so I'll send you an 8x10.
All right.
Whenever we get the rest of this stuff rolling, you'll get the first edition, no problem.
I think those little tiny paintings would be a fun idea for you. Just
I think that is
little,
a great idea.
and then
Yeah,
it
I
kind
think
of
you're spot on.
it makes your degree worth something. It makes you feel
Yeah.
like you didn't waste your money. And you get to bring your art into pro wrestling.
Yeah, and it's another thing. It's like an element to that character, right? It's like just another layer that adds some depth to that character, which is exactly
Oh
what we were
yeah,
talking about earlier. That's awesome. I appreciate
I
you.
love
Thank you for
that.
that.
No, I think that'd be super sick. All right, so our last couple ones here. What are some encouragements for a beginner or someone just wanting to chase their dream?
Oh, just do it, man. Just do it. Like it's so easy to say, like, and by no means am I on the other side of this journey, right? Like I'm still super new to this, but like there was years, whether it was wrestling or other things, like there were years I just spent wasting time talking about, oh, if only I had more money, oh, if only I had more time, oh, if only I had this. And like the most important thing is like the time you have on this planet is so finite and short. Like just go for it. If it brings you joy, if it brings the people around you joy, if it like is something that makes you feel fulfilled, it makes you a happier person, and you can like be a better person because you're happier for those around you, like just go for it. And the minute you start going for it intentionally and with a positive mindset, like even if you like it'll just start to happen. I think like I didn't really have the money to put down for the deposit for like my wrestling school, but I just decided I was going to do it. And the week that I decided to do it, a buddy hit me up to go work a private party bartending where like I made the deposit in a night in
That's
tips. You know what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Yeah.
So like I think just the minute that you are intentional, the minute that you go for something with like full passion and full drive, like just do it and don't let things stop you. And also don't like let even if it's like the wackiest idea that you have, like decide to be a grown ass man in your underwear fighting other grown ass men or strangers. Like don't let it stop you. And also the other thing I would say too that like is a little bit more on the cynical side is like keep your mouth shut because like not everyone out there is going to have your best interest, and
That's my
like
biggest thing. I have to learn how to keep my mouth shut. I give
yeah,
away a
and like
lot.
and it's just
Or
like
I speak
better
up
like
on things I shouldn't speak up about. Like, yo,
yeah,
man,
I mean, I just find I can't put my finger on it, but there's been moments in my life where I've like shared something really cool that was in the work for somebody, and like I just don't like to have my best interest, and like whether they actually had a hand in it or like just karmically or energetically like put some bullshit out in the universe, like it ended up having that thing kind of fall apart. So like
yeah.
be big and be bold in your ideas and your dreams, but like just be smart about who you let into that like inner circle of your support system.
So I had Lily grab the first that painting.
Oh, nice, cool. That's I
So
mean.
what? Go ahead.
Just also the fact that like some like little kids came to your door like, "Here, sir, would you like a painting?" It adds
It
so much
looks like
lore.
on Grand Theft Auto, the Mount Chiliad thing. Like it looks like a cave. Like I don't know. It's super simple. But what is it based off? You said
It's from Gravity Falls.
a show, Gravity
It's
Falls.
called The Book of Bob.
the Book of Bob. Okay, so that's what they're saying.
Right.
And then Lily's daughter then made me another version of it.
Oh, hell yeah. That's super cool. Oh, I love
She wrote
that.
help us on the back.
Well, that's what she said.
Oh, that's what he says. Okay, I just make sure
Nice.
no one needs help. It's not like, yeah,
No
she
one
made
needs
this
help
great
over here.
painting.
Help, please help. Blink twice if you're okay.
Yeah, but no, and like I said, these little tiny canvases, this is where I would go with it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
get them super cheap.
Get them at the dollar store too.
Yeah, get them at a dollar store. She said you got them for 2 for $5.
That's
Little
amazing.
Bedlam paintings.
Thank
And
you,
then
Lily.
the last question here would be, what are you grateful for, and are you currently happy?
Oh, dude, I'm grateful for fucking just waking up in the morning, man. Like, I'm at a spot in my life now where like I'm young enough to have the energy, but like old enough to have a little bit of wisdom behind me, and been able to just kind of like sink into. I mean, it's a process every day, and like we all have our bad days, but like I'm really in a spot where like I'm just trying to be appreciative of the things that I have around me, the people that I have around me, the experiences I've had and will and continue to have. I mean, yeah, man, like I'm happy. We all have bad days, right? But like
Mhm.
when I take stock of what I have, like how my life is, like I couldn't ask for to be in a better place, um, and just to be able to wake up and have a nice apartment where the heat turns on and the water runs, and I open the fridge and there's food, and I look over and that is like loving, sweet girlfriend next to me and our awesome dog, and I can go down and drive and see my parents and see my old friends and support myself and do fun things. And then on top of all that, I get to like body slam people on the weekends and have this other entirely great experience and meet people and just travel the country. Like, dude, like things are super duper awesome. And even like I got no complaints on this end, man. Like getting to meet people like you. Like that's the thing that I love about wrestling too. Like, we just happened to bump into each other, kind of hit it off, talk now at the shows, and now we're chucking it up for the past hour I'm having a great time. I mean, I
Yeah.
hope and it looks like you're having a great time, like things are good, man. Things are real good, and I'm looking forward to like what's coming down the pike. So
Yeah, I think you said something earlier too, to kind of go back to the encouragement or words for a beginner. I've been trying to do more like daily positive messages, like trying to make like little shorts to put out in the world, just make a piece of content that's new every day. And I haven't
yeah.
done it in a couple of days because I'm always trying to like find that one thing to like make the topic of just trying to figure something out. But I think you made a good one of something I wanted to bring up probably in a couple of days is your goal, setting goals. I think people look at a goal and they're like, I want to climb that mountain, and then they try and they don't prepare themselves for the climb, and they only make it a quarter way up and then think they're a failure, and then they never set a goal ever again. But those
Right.
small goals, like I'm gonna buy the shoes, I'm gonna train to run get a mile in, I'm gonna do this, like you have to do things before you can climb that mountain, and setting those small realistic goals are goals that you're going to have to essentially do anyway, but having that
Right.
endorphin of hitting those goals is super super important.
Right. 'Cause that's how you stay motivated, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a disservice to yourself to think that like the foothill before the mountain and the summit before the peak, hitting all those are still goals, or they're still
Yep.
achievements, right? And you're robbing yourself of the joy and the endorphin rush of recognizing those things because it's not the big grand goal, but to get there, to buy the shoes, to train, to whatever. Like to your point, like you need to stop and appreciate that we are creatures that are motivated by positive reinforcement, and
Yeah.
you're not going to do yourself any service by thinking that you're a failure because you didn't achieve the 5-year plan in a matter of weeks. You got to stop and appreciate the steps that you took to start that journey.
Yeah. Well, listen, I had a awesome conversation. This was
Yeah,
really, really fun. I
this
can't
was a
wait to
great
do it
time.
again, make some more content. Now that I'm not working, I thought I wasn't going to be at PPW shows for quite some time because I was on a weekend shift job. But now that we got laid off, I will probably be at some more shows, which is good. I get to see people like yourself. But where can people find and support you?
Yeah, 100%. So Facebook, Brother Bedlam. Instagram, brother_Bedlam. Really bad timing for me, but I just made a TikTok. Well, I've had the account for a while, but like I just started making TikToks that I've yet to post. That's gonna be at the period wrestler, RASTLER apostrophe. And that's gonna be less serious content and like more behind the scenes stuff. which will be
Like those
super fun,
paintings of your opponents.
like those paintings, or watching me shave my armpits before a match, whatever it is, all the weird, wacky things that go into it. Yeah. Any booking inquiries can be sent to bookbedlampw@gmail.com. You'll see me on the 15th in Sellersville at the Forest Lodge for Royalty Wrestling. You'll see me at pretty much any PPW show, whether I'm working or not. I'll be there building the ring and setting up and hanging out for the day. So anytime. You can also find me at your local gas station at 3 a.m, probably smoking a cigarette, or at a truck stop eating some nasty food. You can find me if you look for me. I'm not going to tell anybody where I work. But if you're in the Lehigh Valley and you see a man with big old hair and a crazy beard making your coffee and your muffins, it's probably me. And please feel free to say hello and we can talk about wrestling.
Yeah.
So
I wanna give you your roses too. We kind of talked about this a little off the camera, but the last PPW show, I don't remember seeing you because you were bouncing around. I didn't realize that, but this dude is another one. PPW is not an easy promotion to get into. Everyone is trying to be on the PPW roster. They are one of the top places to work in Pennsylvania, and they've been around a very, very long time. But one of the things that people like Paul and the people who run that are going to notice is the stuff like this. Like, this dude showed up, set a ring up, left, did his booking, came back, watched set up a ring, did a dark match, left, did a double shot somewhere else, came back, watched the main event, and tore the ring down, and then drove probably an hour and some home. Like, that's insane. That's really insane. And that's the kind of stuff that JS Hawthorne is an amazing talent. He showed at 3 Legacies Wrestling, and he was ring crew. And because he came with no expectations, just to help and do the work, he was their champion for almost a year. Like, that's the mentality. Like, you need to have that mentality. And I'm telling you, once you get that character aspect down, I think you're going to have a lot more growth in this industry than you're going to even expect, because I think that's like I said, the looks there, your mind state's there. You have all the small pieces, just connect them, and you're going to be off to the races, man.
Well, I really
I
appreciate
see a JS Hawthorne. I see a dude. I see a worker, but also being that pro wrestler and being that character. I think you're right up there with him. I just think you're 1 or 2 steps away.
I really appreciate saying that. It's always nice to hear words of encouragement, and coming from somebody like you who's been around this business as long as you have, and seeing and traveling and talking. Like, I really appreciate that. And I just want to give you a shout out. Like, I'm very grateful to have been on this podcast. I'm also super grateful to meet you. Like, anyone listening, like, this dude is like the nicest guy in the world. Like, super approachable, super like just easy to talk to. Is very generous with his time and his connections. Like, without even really meeting me, we talked about making some things happen with other promotions, and I can just tell that you have a love for the business and that you like to positively contribute in any way that you can. And I just really appreciate you, and people like you that are surrounding the business really make it worthwhile. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for having me on your show. It's been a really, really great time.
Yeah. We'll close out there. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, please hit me up. Check out the links below. Shoot me an email, a DM in any box. You don't have to be a pro wrestler. I'm interested in anyone with a story, anyone chasing their dreams. If you make art, I'm completely down. I do have, before when this ends, don't jump out of the lobby quick. So there's another project I'm working on that maybe you would like to be involved in as well. But once again, Ruda Entertainment, go get your championship belt needs done by Ruda Entertainment. He makes belts just for PPW, for myself, for a bunch of people. High Tension Wrestling Network out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Go check those guys out. They do great stuff. Not a sponsor anymore, but I want to give them a quick shout out because I love those guys to death. Suplex Vintage Wrestling in Philadelphia. One of the coolest spots to go grab some cool merchandise. Really
South
dope
Street,
guys. Right? Yeah, in South Street, they have some cool stuff coming up soon. Trying to think what else I got before we close out of here. I think that's pretty much it. So, guys, if you made it this far, like, share, subscribe, hit those buttons. Also, screenshot this and just write a little post like, "Hey, ABJ Brother Bedlam interview. This was great. This sucked." Anything. Give us some feedback. Let us know what we think. We can't grow if we don't hear those positive or possibly just encouragement of feedback of what we can change.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much. Man. Yes, thank you so much. Here's some music by the Converse Kid. We'll see you guys next time. If I hit the button right.